Hey guys, welcome to the video. Today I'm just doing Mail Rush 2024 part 3. More wrestling figure bundles to go through to sell on. Now we have a fairly big update on the Mail Rush and a huge update on Disaster Figs at the end of the video. We'll get into that at the end. So the people that have just came to watch some figures being opened can get through that. And then anyone who is loyal to the channel and might be interested in the huge update can check that out at the end. So first of all, we have this bundle of Mamiya sensitive fragrance-free wipes. There's some kind of baby cleaning theme going on with the packaging today. Then we have a second bundle, and next to that an individual figure, which is a weird one. I'm going to start with this bundle first because this came first and I'm weird like that and feel the need to do things in the order of which they arrived. One of these bundles is a bundle of zombie figures for my personal collection. So there'll be no reselling plans for that in the immediate future. You know, maybe one day I'll get around to just selling them. Just say, look, that was dangerous. Never cut with scissors towards your body. It's not a good idea. You could destroy your Alolan Marowak t-shirt. It's not great. So this isn't the zombies. So this is to sell. Now we're going to have to take a small step back from the reselling. And then we're going to take a huge step forward. But again, we'll get into that at the end. So first of all, I think this is the bundle from First Class Phones or something like that. They're an eBay seller. They do quite a lot of... yeah, it is that bundle. They do quite a lot of WWE figure stuff and on eBay, and this is just not a bad bundle. It's a lot of pretty decent modern Mattel figures, and as I mentioned on the previous video, we're going to try and start avoiding Jakks specific figures on account of them being shite. So we got some Mattel figures here, 10 figures. I think the bundle was £9.50. Really not a bad bundle. So let's just get into it. First of all, we've got the basic Dean Ambrose. Not really worth anything, but better than, you know, Jakks garbage. I suppose at least it won't break in storage. We got the Braun Strowman basic. Nightmare. No ponytail. Very loose head as well. But that still might sell. I don't know. Braun Strowman basics aren't bad because they don't fetch a great price, but they do sell, you know. That's fun. What have we got? John Cena basic. Mandatory John Cena basic. Why are all the feet turned around on these things? Slightly, you know, it's more modern John Cena, so it's, you know, it's slightly less boring than your average John Cena. It's got the JBL hairstyle there. We've got a Bray Wyatt basic. This is a really nice one. I really like the shirt. Again, this won't fetch a great price, but it will sell. So that is pretty cool. We've got an Edge basic. You know, always cool to have. I've never really dealt with Edge basics a lot. I would imagine it'll be another case of it won't fetch a great price, but it will sell. Which is kind of what I'm aiming for with basics. You know, we're just looking at. I mean, I did order this before I made the decision to stop buying Jakks figures, but it's always been better to buy basics than Jakks figures. We got a basic AJ Styles in the purple. Purple boots. He's feeling the early Undertaker vibes. Just another generic AJ, really, apart from being purple. We've got, this is quite an interesting basic, a basic Christian. It's a bit different. It's definitely an earlier basic, and of course it's got a pretty interesting head scan. I'd actually say that this is probably better than the Elite. The Elite, what is it? Elite 3, I think. Elite 2, maybe? I don't know. But, yeah, it's better than that. He's got his arms up and that. This, again, this will probably sell. Probably won't fetch a great price, but it will sell. Maybe team it up with the Edge. We've got... Let's do these. We've got some throw-in slam attacks that are all bent out of shape. Were they bent out of shape by the figures? Or were they already like this? Because they weren't in and around the figures. They were kind of dropped on the top. We got Slapjack, everybody's favourite. We got Asuka. We got Keith Lee. And we've got... what's his name? Bobby Fish. And Roman Reigns Spear. OP. We've got such a great Slam Attacks collection. What are they from? 2021. Lovely. I would theoretically like to do Slam Attacks openings and stuff, because I like my card games, I like my pack openings, but obviously they don't change an awful lot year on year, and it's, you know, it's definitely not something that needs a yearly set, and it just feels like a waste of money. So we got a basic Ric Flair, again, kind of interesting. It's got a very stiff shoulder there that will not go flat against his body. Red Ric Flair, you know, a bit different. Not something you see all the time. Again, probably not fetch a great price, but probably will sell. We've got a Jake Atlas. Very different, very loose head. But again, you know, it's a bit different. Probably won't fetch a great price, probably will sell. Got a little bit of damage to the back of the hair there. As you can see, I mean, it's just a bit of paint wear. Oh, look at that. Christ. I mean, basics for £1 is fine. But just a reminder again, this was a £9.50 bundle for 10 figures. And the last figure in this bundle is an Elite Undertaker. Very turbulent prices, but definitely worth it for £1. This is the exact Undertaker that I saved in my Can I Save This Undertaker video. In fact, I think it is, but I don't remember him having that decal on the side of the leg there. That was a pair of Fig Bath videos where I salvaged a very unsalvageable looking Undertaker, which was really cool. Then decided to keep him because I loved him. This one has really, really groggy legs. But yeah, it should be about maybe like £8 or something like that. £1 into 8. It's not bad at all, really, is it? But that's the end of that bundle. So as I say, £1 each for basics, really not bad. It's not the most amazing bundle in the world, and there's now Slam Attacks cards all over the floor. There's some weird levels to this figure, because, I mean, so basically, I bought it so that, because I don't feel like I need the Elite of him. So I bought it, even though there's a basic of him coming out anyway, I bought it to, you know, give me the security of knowing I can sell my Elite on at some point when it's worth selling. And this is the US exclusive, apparently. I totally believe it because we didn't get a lot of Legends stuff over here. But I also wouldn't believe everything that I read on eBay, especially nowadays when you have AI-generated descriptions, because people don't even proofread those to see that the AI is saying mint in box action figure when it absolutely isn't, etc. But it's the Ted DiBiase basic. Yeah, it's got a really nice head on it. It's a nice green suit. It looks very, very weird colour on there. It really doesn't look right. But this was, I think, £8 in the end. No one else bid. I kind of bid before Virgil died, and I'm not really sure how I feel about Ted after the whole thing with him kind of putting himself over while paying tribute to Virgil on a podcast. And also there's the whole thing with his son and the embezzlement, charity embezzlement, whatever it was, etc. So, which, you know, he probably was involved in. So, yeah, not sure how we feel about Ted, but I said even when I picked up the Elite Ted, I don't need an Elite, you know, a basic is fine. And of course, he is getting a basic with a chase as well, with this exact suit. But I thought, we'll get this now, then we don't have to worry about getting the basic in the future. We didn't pay much. This is probably the rarer of the figures. If the exclusive figure's true, I actually honestly don't know. You know, it frees up the Elite to sell that when we can get our money back for it, etc. But yeah, a bit of a weird one, bit unsure on that one. But it is a nice figure. And this must be the bundle of zombies, I should imagine. Now, this was good. I bought all these on kind of individual listings. I got all the ones that no one else bid on, basically. I got outbid on a lot of them. And it was combined postage. It gave me the freedom to kind of go for that. Because I want the zombies, but I don't want to spend too much on them. Now, the combined postage wasn't as good as I'd hoped. He has sent this as one parcel. Royal Mail second class, so what's that? £3.50? His postage label, so it's probably £2.99. He charged me something like £12 for postage, because the obviously every individual listing had price of the listing and postage, and rather than mixing it to like the price of the postage to put them all together like I would have, he's obviously decided to basically give me like 50% off what I like, the full price of all the listings, if you get me. So whereas like with postage and the listing price, it all would have been like 24. He's actually charged me 12, which is fine. That's great, and you know, obviously you can keep some money there, but also cost him £3 to send it. He's charged me 12. But anyway, zombies. What ones have we got? We got Kevin Owens. That face really lends itself to a zombie figure, doesn't it? Bite Owens bite. Very clever. Very clever. We you know, that's there's definitely been a bit of whimsy going into these otherwise sort of terrifying action figures. Next we got, this was actually the first one I got, the Frankenstein Braun Strowman. This thing is huge. I mean, this looks bigger than a regular Braun Strowman. Let's take a look. Maybe slightly wider, but otherwise more or less the same. I think, again, a lot of whimsy gone into that. Like, yep, let's make Braun Strowman Frankenstein. That makes a lot of sense. This might even appear separate from the rest of the zombies. Maybe we'll do a crazy scientist Chris Jericho Frankenstein storyline. We got next. Seth Rollins. This is quite a cool one, you know. He's got that kind of, he's got that barefoot. I don't know what happened to his zombie boot, but you know, it's he's lost that. Oh, the face is actually quite frightening. He's kind of got a dislocated jaw. I'd never really noticed that before. It kind of swings out to this side. Yeah, it's more frightening than I would have expected. It's not the most exciting zombie in the world. It's not the most gnarly one either. But I do like that barefoot. Like, that is gnarly. So that's 3. Who else did we get? AJ Styles. Wow, he's lost all of his teeth. That's an interesting design choice. Still got the tattoo of all of his children's birthdays on the side there. Otherwise, not exactly like not exactly the gnarliest thing. He's not lost a lot of flesh. He's still got a lot of coverage. It is kind of creepy. There's still a lack of teeth though. Like, that's kind of frightening to look at. I mean, these things were not suitable for kids. I said it before. I'll say it again. And if you'd like to check out my other zombie mail openings from last year's Mail Rush, and whenever the other one was, might have also been last year's Mail Rush, but might have been a different time. I'll stick those in the end screen, or they'll be in the mail opening playlist. And we've got the Dean Ambrose. They've stuck his hair up a little bit. Again, he kind of lends himself perfectly to the whole zombie thing, really, doesn't he? Nice ripped t-shirt and everything. Not a lot of like gnarly, like missing flesh or anything like that. But I mean, it's definitely got some bits going on there. The ripped up t-shirt, ripped up DA there as well. Really, really nice. And finally, oh no, there's 2 more. Sasha Banks. Legit undead. It's not as clever as Bite Owens Bite, but you know, the necklace doesn't really work there. I'm gonna have to go in and sort that chain out, I think. She actually has knuckle dusters, which are a nice touch. Are they removable? No, they are integral. But I mean, it's still interesting. I mean, I would be annoyed if my Sasha Banks basic, you know, I bought this as a kid and she had like integral knuckle dusters, but as a zombie, I guess it kind of works. It's actually, she has to phone her wrist in like that, but it says zombie. Then of course we've got the legit undead on the shirt. We've got the broken glasses at the top of her head. The pink on the hair is beautiful. That's really, really nice. And we've got like she's got an exposed toe in the boot. I mean, one day maybe I'll go through all the details on these zombie figures in like a separate video or something. Finally, we got Zombie Finn Balor. It's gnarlier than I even thought. So obviously the head's quite wobbly because it's stuck on by the spine. And when you actually see this thing in person, it looks so much more gnarly than it already does. And that is dark. That is some dark shit. Like, I mean, his arm's all ripped up, his chest's all exposed, and he actually has a tongue sticking out. Like, he's got an actual venom tongue sticking out of his chest. But what would you even call that? Who is it in the design team who thought, what if Finn Balor just had nothing there but his spine? Like, what if he just had all of that ripped apart? I don't know, maybe there was a paint where he had like a spine thing painted on his, like a demon paint where he had like the spine. painted on his neck or something. I don't know, but it's pretty brutal. He even has a massive hole in his back. So yeah, gnarly. Very, very dark. Very, very dark. And like I say, if you want to see the other mail openings with the zombie bundles, then I'll stick one of them in the end screen, and I'll stick the mail opening playlist in the end screen as well, and you can find the others that way. So we are going to end this video by talking about a rather large update to disaster figs and to the mail rush in general. The mail rush, which is a concept I've done twice, retrospectively calling it the mail rush. We have 2 more parts to do as it currently stands, more parcels on the way, but I don't think it's going to continue as a concept, because I think there is a decent chance that the flow of mail to my house is going to be so constant in the coming the near future, that it's not going to matter. It's not going to be an event. It's just going to be a channel staple. And I'll explain the reason for this. So first of all, the reason for this is the Disaster Figs update. So Disaster Figs is my theoretical small business for selling wrestling figures. And we were looking at basically building upon what I do with reselling now, with all these bundles, etc., from the mail rush, to, see about developing it into a small business down the line, like later on this year. Once I can drive, it opens up a lot for me. So it was basically, we were looking at expanding and growing that between now and then. My girlfriend brought up a worrying point the other night. She owns a small business herself, and she was asking about my reselling, and she thought to ask for the first time about tax returns and stuff like that, and declarations on the the amount of money I make on eBay. Now, she had the rules slightly wrong. Well, actually, considerably wrong. There's a considerable difference, and freaked me out quite a bit when she told me what she thought the rules were, which was that if you've made over £1,000 altogether with any kind of project, anything like that, you need to declare it. So that freaked me right out, because I've definitely made more than £1,000 on eBay over the years. So I spent most of the day Googling around it, and what I do definitely counts as something you would have to declare, and over £1,000 I would definitely have to declare it, which would mean declaring myself self-employed, and I absolutely couldn't do that. I absolutely don't make enough money from reselling to live on. I absolutely don't make enough that, absolutely don't make more than my carer's allowance, etc. So I thought I was going to have to stop. And, preliminary kind of reading into it, and preliminary calculations and stuff like that basically led me to believe, yes, I almost certainly am in breach for the previous financial year. However, I actually looked it up and totaled it up and did everything, because I found out there's actually a section in eBay that has all of your sold items ever in your account settings. So that's really cool. So I used that to make a ledger to work out how much I've made, minus postage, minus initial cost, all that kind of stuff. So it's because it's net profit that we're going on. It's net profit that you need to kind of declare. And I'm below the £1,000 allowance. It's not far below, but it's definitely below. So my immediate reaction was to pause my eBay store so we don't go over, and then we'll wait until the tax year starts on the 5th of April, or ends rather, or whichever way you want to say it. And then we'll list all of this stuff up at that point, try and sell out on it as quickly as possible, and then work out our next steps. And because, we were on a money thing, and I'm not going to be able to upscale the reselling, but I am still going to want to buy a car, etc., I, of course, then had to start looking for jobs a bit more aggressively, really. So I spent 2 hours finding very, very little worth applying for. At least 2 hours, I would say, that evening. In a very somber mood about losing reselling, because it was, it's something I can do when I don't feel creative. It's something I can do to make a bit more money when I'm unemployed and stuff like that. It was a whole lot of freedom invested in it, but it was a bit of a blow at the time when I thought it was ending. And of course, we were it was a bit of a somber mood. I've been applying for jobs for ages, and I was just getting more and more ill, because I have been ill again, back-to-back colds. That was nice. But actually that only really lasted a day. I'm still a tiny bit snuffly, but that was just like the one evening where I thought this is going to be way worse tomorrow, and I actually woke up okay. But anyway, the point is, I was applying for all these jobs, and my mind was just thinking, am I wasting my own time here? The next day, I ended up in the same hole eventually, just applying for jobs for age, or looking for jobs to apply for, rather. If you're not a qualified mental health worker, you don't want to be a teaching assistant or a care assistant. That my local area doesn't even have anything for you at the moment. Not that they've ever had an awful lot for me anyway, which is why we're in this situation. But I was staring at these job ads, and I was just thinking the same thing again. I was thinking, am I wasting my own time here? Am I putting off the inevitable? Because the employers of my local area have made it very clear over the years that they don't seem to want me, and they've made it obvious to me that my eventual end game of being self-employed might not be the end game after all. It might be time to pull the trigger. On carer's allowance, you don't make an awful lot of money. You make about half of what a person would in a job, which means that as long as I make more than £6,000 selling, then I will be better off or equal to. And obviously, I'll feel better about it anyway, because on carer's allowance, I feel like I'm doing nothing. At least if I was making the exact same money reselling, I would feel like I'm doing some work. So it's not ideal. It's not a great amount of money to be looking at, but I'm now thinking about going for it. All of a sudden, in the space of like a day, I went from, oh my God, I can't believe I'm losing reselling, to maybe this is it. Maybe we need to actually dive in. And we can't upscale the reselling as I'd hoped to before looking at starting it as a business. Maybe we just need to dive in. Because look at it this way, I've nearly made £1,000 without trying in the last year. You know, apart from like the mail opening bundles and stuff like that, a lot of my reselling stuff has just gone by the wayside in the last year. And obviously, if we were registered as a business, we can get stuff in wholesale as well. The car comes into play, that opens up a lot more. We've got boot sales for sourcing, we've got boot sales for selling, we've got more charity shops, all that kind of stuff. We can go off on adventures and have good times and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really thinking about it, and it's not that crazy of an idea. Obviously, I was going to go for it at some stage. I have quite a good small business background around me. My sister's self-employed, my girlfriend's a small business, her father's self-employed, and one of my lovely subscribers, Philip Eccles, gave me a lot of advice and pointed me in the right direction. I think it was when I finished at Process Group and I was thinking about, going into stuff like this. It might have been when I finished at Smith's. Can't really remember how long ago it was, but it was very, very helpful. And again, between now and early April, we're just going to be reading up on, getting the best advice, getting the best information and all that kind of stuff. And then somewhere around early April, we're going to pull the trigger and we are going to go for it as a small business and get all of these boys listed and then start ordering in some wholesale stuff, some boxed figures, all that kind of stuff, and really just make a go of it. And it might be a huge disaster, but I don't really have an awful lot to lose. So here's hoping it's going to be really, really positive and another exciting thing for the year. It is something I was hoping to do this year. I just wasn't planning on doing it this early. But I think we got to go for it. I mean, I think it just makes perfect sense. And one final update is that I passed my driving theory test. Yay, go me. We're a step closer to driving, a huge step closer to the driving. So, if you enjoyed this video, please do like, comment, and subscribe. And if you would like to show me some more support, please check out the Disaster Figs Facebook page in the description, which is where I'm going to be doing all the reselling and everything. There's not an awful lot going on over there at the moment, but that, any support over there is going to be really, really very much appreciated. And I always really do appreciate you guys watching. So thank you all for joining me, and goodbye. Oh. God, the hand recognition thing is ridiculous. The amount of times I do this is absurd. Okay. Let's start the video. Let's get the chair ready so I don't have to reach down as far to get these pastels, etc. That little bit of curtain out. See, I get, if I either have a little bit of curtain in the edge of the screen, or I get this little glow on my face from the window. Ideal. You can see my face is sort of like from the yellow light and the window, the white light at the window, you know, it's unbalanced, isn't it? Oh well, 'tis what 'tis. Hey guys, welcome to the video. Today I'm just doing Mail Rush 2024 part 3. Oh, right. That's fun. And finally, so just to remind you again, for those that